to dip my balls in it.
I want to dip my balls in
I
it.
want to dip my balls in it.
Get a glass of wine when you say that. I want to dip my balls in it.
How do you feel about
Grandpa Baer, no.
the Northwest Oil Pipeline? I want to dip my balls.
I absolutely want to dip my balls in the Roundtable podcast. Welcome to it.
Yay.
This is the episode for June...
Something far away.
May 29th?
Yeah, not June.
June, May. That's my favorite month.
June, May is
They
a
have bugs for
grade
those.
of sake, actually. It means pure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, TIL.
If that ever comes up in Final Jeopardy, I am owed all of your money. Ever.
That
Wow.
is not how Jeopardy works. Thank you all for
should.
joining us again. This is episode 9. We are nearly into double digits, which is honestly startling. I think that's the point at which we establish, some level of responsibility for the content that I am not ready for. Where does it lead for you, typically? Double digits for, most series. That's when things, start to solidify, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm kind of into the thick of this now, right?
That's when I start feeling comfortable that I can end it at any moment.
Oh, okay.
I got 10 episodes in. I'm good.
I really feel like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives hit its stride in its 11th season, so double digits makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Or triple digits of episodes could be the thing.
Triple
too.
dipple
Triple dipple.
Triple dog
D.
whipple,
Triple
yeah.
dipple dong my
digits
D.
of episodes.
Absolutely. That is so true. I'm going to move Mathis's head on the fly here just a touch, actually.
Here we go.
So we're just going to toss this around a bit, jumble it up. If you're just listening to the audio-only edition,
Yeah.
you're totally missing out.
That's what I was gonna. He's doing ghost hands right now. Whatever that is.
What are ghost hands? That's
This right here. Like,
Ghosts
little-
don't
those are
have hands.
jazz
They
hands.
have their hands inside of their blanket.
Do you think ghosts get mad that they don't have hands? Anyway, we should introduce ourselves. Hey, I'm Bear Taffy, joined by Northern Lion,
Hello.
Mathis Games,
Howdy.
Rockley Smile.
Hey, what's going on?
I have to do it that way just in case people, forget based on audio identification. So there's that, the clarification for it. On today's docket, we've got The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt is the big one.
God.
that
Have
we
you
call-
heard of this one?
Have I heard of this game?
Have you let's played this game?
No.
None of us have, which is probably for the best, honestly.
It really is.
It's a step up from the average show where none of us play the games that we talk about.
Well, we've
Or
got
we
that
play it
covered
5
with our
minutes.
next one, Not a Hero, but we're going to be talking about that too.
Oh, shit, speaking of.
Yeah,
I got a foil Yennefer card on Steam.
What?
that's probably worth like $3, seriously.
$3.22.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
You better dump that right now.
You need to.
Go
Yeah, this
right
is
now.
Sell, man.
16 were sold in the past 24 hours.
this
I'm
is
on
the
it right
peak
now.
of value right now, dude. I'm
Undercut
telling you.
them.
High.
Undercut them by a
$3.
nickel.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. So I'll say $3.15. How's that? A little 7 cents discount.
I am this close. I'm using my fingers as an aid here. I'm really having to help out the audio only people for the first 10 minutes of the show thus far. I am this close to becoming a trading card marketing wizard because I've got so many drops on games that I never play. I just want to leave them open as I'm doing other stuff because you can so
thought of that?
easily sell trading cards if you just undercut everyone. Like, it works so easily. I have like $8 in my Steam account just because I've sold a shitload of cards.
But like, what is that in a dollar per hour level?
Hey,
Like,
man. At
like
some
zero.
point, no, you remember this. This happened a little while ago. I was making like near minimum wage just off of selling trading cards because I'd bulked up a giant amount at some point.
For
I'm
how
start
long?
doing that right
though?
now. I'm gonna do this the whole fucking
You
podcast.
can
I
make
mean-
like near minimum wage for like an hour.
For not
No,
even that, like 4
It's
minutes at
sustainable,
most.
man. No, I think it's sustainable. I think honestly, I could make more doing trading cards full time than I could doing YouTube.
This makes
Whoa.
no
In
sense
Steam
whatsoever.
Cash only.
It makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
in Steam Cash.
If you don't have to buy the games, but you
That's
have to
exactly
do
the
the YouTube
point, yeah.
thing to get the copies in the
Yeah,
first place.
All right, I didn't say it was practical. I just said it was an option.
You didn't say
Never
they were
ending circle.
congruent upon one another either.
I'm
That's kind of
unpacking.
odd.
I just realized I have like 80 booster packs right here. I'm just gonna unpack them all as we go here.
Yeah, do
I'll
it.
let
This-
you know if I get any foils.
I'd really love for you actually to, through the course of this show, attempt to sell as many trading cards as you possibly can and see how much money you make over the course of an hour and a
You know,
half or so.
I put up another foil for Armor 3 Helicopter thing.
Oh shit!
65 cents. That's 10
Helicopter.
cents. 10 cents cheaper than you can normally get it. Get it now.
You
I'm
One
just
can't
gonna-
advertise to people on the fucking show, man.
I'm gonna go buy Mathis's cards right now.
and then
Resell them for more.
All right. Not a Hero coming up on the show, as well as we got a discussion topic actually that we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah, who wants these Apotheon cards as the discussion?
That's exactly what we're going to talk about. No,
I'll trade you my Gas Guzzlers Extreme booster pack for your Apotheon booster pack.
I already
don't think it works like that. Only real cash.
You can print out your Steam wallet funds. Did you know into real currency of
so you can hand it to your accountant.
Yeah.
Is it Gavin dollars or something? Does it have his face on it?
I'd use that. I'd bring that to Walmart and buy a box of Reese's Puffs with it. Wouldn't you?
Steam just froze. I think they've never seen a man open this many booster packs at the same time.
We're going to be talking about the discussion topic today is if you can only choose one console out of the major players in the marketplace right now, which one is it going to be? Out of the Wii U, the PS4, and the Xbox One, and we're going to be talking about that today. And City Skylines get a little bit of an expansion as well as Bloodborne. So that's some exciting stuff.
Ryan's making a weird face right now.
I opened a Move or Die pack. I got foil pumpkin.
Oh.
View and Community Market starting at $49.51.
What?
Whoa.
No way!
That's not going to sell.
It's never sold. There have been zero.
What is that based on?
Just one person, figured out where they thought the wealth curve was supposed to be.
They established it right there, yeah. That's impressive.
Shit. They're just trying to dump it.
They're like, I'm paying $4 for this?
Check this out. Octodad trading card, non-foil, is worth 26 gems. I don't know what this means.
I don't know about gems still. I missed that whole synthesis thing.
Pumpkin foil, 320 gems. That's like 16 regular cards.
All right, you know what? Fuck the discussion. This podcast is now about Steam trading cards. We can make that happen, man. I really think we
it took
could.
you this long to get
Steam
into
Trading
this.
Card podcast.
Does that exist? Oh man, I feel like
it is now. New
our
Patreon.
I'm gonna get so many emoticons.
Let's play buy and sell Steam trading cards, episode 1.
Like
Every episode is episode 1.
Yeah. Gets the most views, why not?
Yeah. All right. So we could start off actually with the big discussion topic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which console is best console? In this course of their lifespan, we're now into, what are we into, like year 2?
This will be the second year for everything but the Wii U, which is going to be 3 years old in November.
Are we approaching this from like a gamer standpoint or like a casual gamer standpoint? I think that's important because there could be a varying degree of different answers.
I think we can hit every nail as far as our collective hammer is concerned. We've got the standpoint of moms going out to buy consoles for their kids. We've got the standpoint of folks like us who are pretty avid connoisseurs of the industry.
Moms?
Well, we are also moms, yeah.
So, like, for me, the only reason I get consoles is for the exclusives, because if it's on the PC, I'm playing it on PC almost 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And going in with that mindset, I would say the Wii U is without a doubt the console to own as far as just fun, exclusive games that you cannot play unless you own a console. I mean, PS4, you've got Bloodborne, which is really good, and I'm really happy I have it. But outside of Bloodborne, I picked up Infamous Second Son. I played that for like an hour. I'm like, this is boring.
I finished it. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, I can't.
It's pretty, though.
It's
very, very pretty, yeah, but it's also very, like, the city just feels dead. But that's a whole nother discussion. So I stand, with my viewpoint, I think Wii U probably has the most fun games. I have the most Wii U games compared to my PS4, where I have 2.
Talking about exclusives in particular is probably going to be one of the larger features that sells a console. And there's not too many that need to be discussed at this point.
Master Chief Collection.
Which sucks. It's
Sunset
still
Overdrive,
broken.
man. Sunset.
No, wait, we have to... You think about this for a second. Master Chief Collection, November of last year.
Yeah.
8 months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 months. Counting with Bear Taffy. It's still pretty much just as bad as it was. At least from word of mouth, is what I'm
Did they
hearing.
just give up? Did they just leave it alone? Did they ever release an official statement?
I feel like they might have. I think they put their hands up in the air and they just said, fuck it! Fuck it! Fuck it! Run! And I'm really mad about it still. But that was the selling point. I got a console for that. I bought the Xbox One for that game. And that was now that is gone. There's Sunset Overdrive, of course, which is apparently pretty damn good. But apart from that, the Xbox One really does not bring a ton to the table as a console. It has it has recording capabilities that are extremely limited, but they do work well for what they are. Actually, I should make point of that. I like the Xbox One's record and playback and upload and all that stuff. It does work well, and I've actually uploaded a couple of clips from games that I've played on my Xbox One to my YouTube channel. But yeah, it's a tough sell outside of that.
Because if you look at the PS4 versus the Xbox One feature for feature at this point, you're just getting 2 exclusives and a lot of worse versions of PS4 games.
Yep.
Right? If we're just removing PC from this equation.
Yes, but it's okay. Allow me to play the part of the curmudgeon who also just does not understand things. We're getting I understand that there's a mathematical objectivity to it, that 1080 is a better resolution than 900 is a better resolution than 720. I feel like I played a lot of PS4 stuff on a decently large TV, a lot of Xbox One stuff on a decently large TV. Not a lot of Xbox One stuff, but I'm playing The Witcher on it right now, and it looks fine, and very occasional frame rate dips. Sure,
peasant.
I mean, people are gonna be mad that we're even having this discussion.
I was just gonna say we're literally talking
consoles.
about this, to the audience that may not share our sentiments here.
I don't find that the way I think about people when they're like, well, the PS4 version is superior to the Xbox One version is the second and third smartest kid in the class who are quite clearly not going to be valedictorians.
Man.
It is crabs in the bucket. PS4 owners being like, well, it has 180 extra pixels per frame on the PS4, so it looks the same, okay? It doesn't literally look the same, and it's probably perceptible to the human eye, but it's very, very minor, in my experience at least.
I also got the impression the Xbox One was the hardest of the 3 to develop for, because it seemed like there was the most bugs and issues in games on it. Do you think that's an element as well?
I don't know. Right now, the only things I've played on Xbox One are... I played a little Forza 5 when it came out, which was fine. And I played Super Time Force on it, which was fine. And now I'm playing The Witcher, and I've never had a crash in The Witcher. Everybody's complaining about having PS4 crashes and PC crashes.
Well, there's a big problem that cropped up yesterday or the day before for the Xbox One version of The Witcher, and it's a huge save bug.
Oh, that sounds bad.
And there's an article on
There's
an article on Game Informer about it. It says, I'm done playing The Witcher 3 until they fix the save bug. Where on Xbox One, here it is, the first, after a death, chose to restore a save point. The game crashed on load, let it sit for 20 minutes before turning the Xbox One off. Upon restarting, I couldn't get past the click any button to continue screen. Game locked up again. Please wait. Lost my save.
Oof.
Ooh. And that's happening to a lot of people right now. And CD Projekt Red says they're aware of it and they're trying to fix it.
I hate those bugs. Those are the roughest ones.
I haven't played in a couple of days, so I guess maybe I'm lucky.
Just don't boot it up.
Yeah. Don't touch it.
But I mean...
So yeah, there's problems on both.
My philosophy was not to say that the Xbox One is the superior of the consoles. I agree with Mathis's logic completely. If you own a gaming PC, the best console to own is the Wii U. Because it has a lot of exclusives that are good, and there's no other way to get them.
They look beautiful.
The Wii U games also, they look, like you said, they look fantastic, and it's not always from, a technical standpoint. It's got, good art direction and stuff like that. They look different than most games on PC. I play stuff on consoles because I'm in, a tiny office here, and after working in here for, 12 hours, I'm I'd like to spend, some time with my wife on the couch. So, yeah, I, go out into the living room, and I'll play something on the PS4, on the Xbox One. So, I mean, if you're strictly looking at it from a functional standpoint, PC plus Wii U is, I think, it covers all your bases. But I like the other consoles as well. I mean, I do think there's a little crabs in the bucket PS4 versus Xbox One. I think they are, I don't want to say that they're inferior, but for if you're looking for high performance gaming, you would just do it on the PC if you can afford it. Otherwise, I think you should just kind of accept that you're going for a second best option, and don't worry it doesn't really matter, if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One, I feel, if there's so few exclusives on them, but maybe that's just me. People are like, wow, you didn't even get The Witcher for PS4, you got it for Xbox One, and I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself, basically. You were going to be mad if it wasn't anything but, or if it was anything but PC anyway, so, I don't know. Microsoft, it's very easy to circle jerk against them, but I've had a good time with both consoles.
I still I kind of share the sentiment of it's difficult to justify the purchase of either the PS4 or the Xbox One when you have a PC that is capable of running a lot of the games that you want to play anyway. There are, I think we've even, brushed on this topic a little bit. There are very few games that I think are worth buying a console for just those experiences. Destiny, I think, is going to be the one that maybe makes an argument, maybe makes a case for itself. Whereas I don't really have a ton of interest in playing Destiny or picking up Destiny and starting fresh with it now that it's, pretty far off into its lifespan. There are still people that are, picking up and playing the game. There was a ridiculous statistic I think was shared recently. I think it's 20 million players have registered or logged time in the game. Obviously, that's not 20 million actives, or maybe it is. I don't actually know off the top of my head, but still, that is an outrageous number. So Destiny was a console pusher for
There's so many people
PlayStation.
tweeting about Destiny that I actually had to go and check because I forgot that it was not on PC. I was like, surely it's on PC. And
No, they what did they announce? They think they announced a huge expansion.
Yeah, House of Wolves was the big expansion that they released. It's getting mixed reviews too.
Just like Destiny, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even I would never even use the argument which console is technologically better. It really does boil down to what console has the best exclusives that you're looking for at this point. And I would, like you said, I don't think any of us are in disagreement that both Xbox and PS4 really don't have a lot going for you. You have Bloodborne, I think PS4 is biggest seller if you're into that type of game, and you have on Xbox, maybe Sunset Overdrive, maybe Halo Chief Master Collection, because you have Destiny on both, so you can't even say Destiny for one of them.
I think it comes down to, I do prefer the PS4 to the Xbox One, but it comes down to, if you were looking at two sports teams, you're getting down into the stance that nobody cares, hype or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the PS4, I prefer.
like the Xbox's controller better.
I like that the PS4 is 1.4 inches taller than the Xbox One.
Controller.
That's why I'm playing The Witcher 3
How's it going?
on PC with the 360 controller.
What are you looking for here?
Hi, Kate.
Hey, Kate.
All right. I do love the Xbox One controller, actually. I like it more than the PS4 controller, but that's not necessarily that common. But PS4, I think PS Plus is fairly consistently better, especially at the indie side of things, than the Microsoft Games with Gold or whatever it's called. But if you were a sports gamer primarily, you got an interesting choice as well, because the show for MLB, which is really, really good, is exclusive to the Sony stuff, but Microsoft on the Xbox One has EA Access, where for $5 a month, it'll get into the specifics here, but yeah, for $5 a month, you get a limited amount of playtime in new sports titles, and then all of the EA Sports Vault from a year ago, or six months ago, actually.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about MLB The Show. I love MLB The Show.
MLB The Show is really good, and people write it off because it's a sports game, and that's stupid.
No, it's really
It is pretty easy to write off sports games.
It is, and I understand why, but I hate. And if you're like, sports games are not for me, that's fine. But when people go it's a sports game, I'm like, dude, people spend thousands of hours.
We do it. We play sports.
You can play that. You can play that game as a pure simulation and just play as manager.
Yo, that's a strategy role playing sports game.
Rob, Alpaca Patrol would love that shit.
Yeah,
he's all about
absolutely.
them managing simulations, man.
I mean, right now for $5 a month, and I'm not to say that all these games are great, but it's the year of the Sport 15. You get NHL 15, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, Madden 15, Battlefield 4, FIFA 15, EA UFC, Need for Speed Rivals, NBA Live 15, Peggle 2, FIFA 14, and Madden 25. Last year's versions for $5 a month.
He's reciting this from memory, by the way.
That's $5 a month. Yeah, some of the new ones might have a trial associated with them.
Okay.
But
Battlefield 4, that feels wow. I mean, I know Battlefield 4 has been out for a while, and but it's still, I feel like it's one of those games that EA would probably try and ring you for a little while longer, especially with Hardline coming out.
Oh, it's out, yeah.
I feel like we're maybe beating around the bush as far as what the Wii U brings to the table outside of the exclusives too, because we already came to the conclusion. The idea is you can cover pretty much everything with Wii U plus gaming PC. But I love the Wii U now that I've experienced it myself for a little while, because it has something unique in the form of that almost a handheld console on its own, the gamepad that it comes with. It's awesome. I've been using it. Like I actually really love it. It's pretty cool to be able to, use a console on a gamepad. It works really well as well. I've been playing Mario Kart 8 on there, and it's just about the same experience as you would get on the big screen. So
I like it. Yeah.
It's tough to replicate something like that on your gaming PC. I mean, it's so in making the comparison of
Shield.
I was gonna say the Shield.
yeah, there's the Shield. That's true.
They have a tablet now, so I think it's about the closest you'll get.
To be fair, you can do the same thing on the PS4 if you have a Vita as well with remote play.
It's laggier though. I've tried it.
None of them have ever really worked properly for me.
The gamepad's worked really well for me, but
that one worked well. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that the gamepad offers an experience that is very unique to the Wii U that you don't really have the capability of replicating, at least very easily, with a gaming PC. It's not like you can... Yeah, exactly. It's not like there's... Well, okay, you just literally did say the NVIDIA Shield is something that kind of ties into that, but I'm thinking about things like with recording your gameplay. Obviously, that's very easy to do with the PC when you compare that to something like the Xbox One that has the record gameplay clips and share it with your friends sort of thing. There's not a lot that the Xbox One has that PC owners can't say, like, well, obviously we can do that, and we've been doing that forever. The Wii U's gamepad brings something that is not easy to duplicate with your gaming experience on the PC, so I like that a lot about the Wii U. And I'm pretty sure I'm sold as far as that's concerned on the Wii U being the console that is more than likely what you want if you're going to get a console in addition to your gaming PC. Although with that as well, there's not a ton of stuff that might be appealing to if you're not even really interested in Nintendo's offerings.
Like zero.
Yeah. Well, okay, there's Bayonetta and there's, okay, well, I mean, Zelda's obviously a pretty Nintendo.
I was lumping
thing.
Bayonetta in because it was like, I'm not sure if it was published, but it was financed by Nintendo.
Yeah. I don't know, Bayonetta seems like a not, I don't think Nintendo when I think Bayonetta, whereas with things like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Super Mario 3D World and Super Smash Brothers, obviously that's very Nintendo, so yeah, there's not a ton.
But there's there's not a ton outside Nintendo, but there's a lot there for Nintendo.
Yeah. No,
and they have the closest controller to the Xbox controller.
The only reason the Wii U wouldn't win this debate from a PC gamer's perspective is if you're like me and you're like, I'm okay with playing basically a technically subpar version of the game to get out of the room that my PC is in. I can understand that not many people are in that position. And the counterpoint to that is always like, well, you can hook up Steam, like with, network sharing within your house, Steam Big Picture. I've done it on the TV. There's like a, quarter second of latency input lag. And for playing like Telltale stuff, it's fine, but you can also just like get a PC and move it over there. But like, it's convenient. It was like a few $100s. It's a convenient solution to play reasonable facsimiles in my living room on my couch on my TV. If you're not the kind of person that's interested in doing that, if you want to stay in your room at all times, which there's nothing wrong with, then PC plus Wii U is the only combination that really makes sense. I can't really see you using a PS4 if you're not. Like, if you're not going to use your TV.
Yeah, I can personally vouch too. I have an Xbox One. It's in a box. Like, I'm not using it. I bought it for
sad.
Halo. I know, yeah. I'm looking at it in the box over here right now. It's like just this poor little thing that I want to play too. I've got fun games. I gave it a really sad voice. Well, now I feel bad for it. I need to go pet it.
You're like, no, you don't, Xbox. You're a liar.
It used to be an argument about, like, which of these groups did you want to bring your friends over from the prior console?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of faded away for me. I don't really play games much with people on consoles for multiplayer anyway.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Well, you don't go see people in real life anymore is the thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's also true.
No, that is an interesting point as well, where the Wii U also wins in that category because you've got the gamepad, you've got the Wiimotes, you've got the Pro controllers. You can play with up to 5 people on Mario Kart at the same time. It's kind of become the party console now, too.
It is.
Very
really
easily.
Is.
I don't disagree.
Nintendo Land was super fun to play a few times.
Nintendo Land was good, man. Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot because it used the pad and it's cool to be the guy whose turn it was to play with the pad and like have unique roles in the little mini games like the Ghost one and all that stuff. I thought that was really fun.
And with how cynical and jaded we've become too, I remember seeing the Wii U gamepad pop up at first, like this is so gimmicky and stupid. Like I'm never gonna, pop up the little map on my gamepad and be playing Zelda and think, oh, this is where I go with my stylus. Yay.
I'm still not a fan of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
They
don't
don't
really
use
think
it for those
it's
gimmicks.
that helpful.
Yeah.
There was like Zombie U, and then I feel like after that they just completely lost third-party support, and we're just like, we're just gonna make Nintendo games, and like that's
As
the
always.
selling point of it. Like I feel like I was overly cynical about the Wii U, and a lot of people were, because I was coming at it from like an armchair business analyst perspective of like, oh, they really need to get third-party support. There's no games on it, and that's true. Within that first year of the Wii U's lifespan, there were like 3 good games that came out, which is not that good. However, if you have a PC as a complement to it, then it doesn't matter, because the PS4 and Xbox One all of a sudden only have 2 or 3 games that you can't get on a PC that's capable of playing them anyway. So it just becomes like Nintendo has a huge competitive advantage, not in third-party support or, technical hardware or anything like that, but just because they have Nintendo. So they can come out with like all these games that are traditionally good and well-liked, and it's worked out for them.
Nintendo has over the past like decade become the go-to like complementary console since the original Wii. They're no longer the do I get a PS2, Xbox, or GameCube? It's I'm going to get one of these and I'm going to get a Wii U at some point.
I think last generation it was a little different.
With the Wii?
For me, yeah, because I mean, I know everybody owned a Wii, but I also feel like everybody played their Wii for like a year. And then, well, okay, I'm speaking from my own experience, but like we would play like Wii Sports, and then we played Wii Sports Resort, and then we played Super Mario Galaxy and Twilight Princess. And then I just let it sit for like
And
3
Smash
or 4
and
years.
Mario Kart.
I played Smash, but the Mario Kart on Wii I didn't think was very good. And
Yeah, I
like,
stopped at Smash.
for the most part, I was like, it was just shovelware coming out because it sold so many units, and it was like, it focused way more on the gimmick than the Wii U does, the motion control thing. But I really feel like consoles were strong last generation because, or maybe relatively because the PC was not seen as such a driving force anymore. It was kind of in that like, I don't know, like everyone was getting Rock Band and Guitar Hero and, games that came out for consoles like that, Gears of War. When I think back to last generation, if you're looking between like 2005 and like 2009, 2008, I'm like, I think of console games. Maybe that's just me. I think
Well,
of the
the PC
360.
kind of went through a whole fucking like Rising of the Phoenix situation. They were the last generation. PC was not really seen as a huge contender in the market, but I mean there have been plenty of studies and statistics over the past few years showing that PC has once again kind of like come back because they're becoming more affordable and people are educating themselves, I guess, on it. Like the generation below us is growing up with the knowledge of how to like build these things and know how to afford it. And most games that are coming out for PC now, you want to play them on PC because you have the option to be like, well, I could play it 30 frames a second with dips in at like 720, 900, or I could play at 60 FPS on ultra settings for a machine that's just a little bit more expensive than picking up an Xbox or a PS4.
If you're going to go with 60 FPS ultra settings, I think you're getting a little bit higher than...
I've been seeing games writers and games developers being like, hey, I've got like this incredible machine and I can only run it at like high.
I'm running Witcher 3 at ultra settings, like 55, 60 frames a second on a 780 GT with an i7 4770K.
But that's at least 3 times as much as you're paying for a console.
to put it
together from scratch.
To build this machine, I paid probably close to $1,000. So a little bit, and that was in November. That was in November when the card was a little bit more expensive, when the processor was a little more expensive. I still say you could probably build this particular machine like maybe $100, $200 more than you would if you picked up like a PS4 or a Xbox One.
That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're straight up lying.
I'm not. Straight up not.
Something like, did you every part in that PC is new. The case, the power supply, the motherboard.
Yeah, but that's why you have PC Part Picker, man. When you do PC Part Picker, it finds all those parts on sale on either Tiger Direct or Newegg or Amazon, and you don't buy them.
If you can find every part of that PC for less than $500 total, I will give you $500.
And
I said 600. I said 600. I said
to the people that are listening, this is not to argue that like a $600 gaming PC is worth less than a $500 PS4. Like one is a better choice. The numbers just seem incredible to me. Let's put it that way.
And speaking of brass tacks, too, an argument to be made again for the Wii U. If you're looking strictly for that, PS4 right now $400, Xbox One $350, Wii U $300. So that almost makes a case for itself. So I don't know, man. I think we're pretty solidified in our opinions here Unless, I don't know, Nick, have you reached a solid conclusion?
I kind of go PS4, Wii U, and then Xbox One.
Yeah?
That's kind of I get spent quite a bit of time playing Diablo, freaking Northern Lion over here. I got hooked on it when I went to his house one time. And, there's just this little cluster of games. I admit, though, there were definitely some disappointments. I mean, Little Big Planet 3 was going to be huge for me. I'm a massive Little Big Planet fan, and that game was garbage. It was super buggy, and I really was sad about that whole thing. I didn't spend more than a few days playing it, and I just kind of put it on the shelf. But, Bloodborne's obviously a pretty big seller for a lot of people. Destiny I did spend a few hours with. I admit, wasn't amazing, but it definitely did hold my attention for a while. And just comparing those things versus the stuff that I find on Wii U, I think they're just more things that target me more as a demographic. I'm not saying that I didn't play my Wii U, but I don't think a lot of those things stuck with me as long as they did on the PS4.
I think PS4 definitely makes a case for the exclusives battle.
Right, not to mention the indie sphere as well. There's, I think, quite a bit going on there.
Yeah.
And I see the potential for it in the future, too.
I find the exclusives thing kind of moot because for me, like you could stack it up and say the PS4 has better exclusives than the Xbox One. But if you're comparing like 4 versus 3, it's almost like neither of them should matter.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go with that argument and say then, in a way, I honestly don't really think it matters that much because I don't play consoles enough to really care. Like, I'm not super invested in the argument. I just mostly play PC.
Yeah. So then, from the perspective of the average consumer, let's put it that way. Where would you go?
I could definitely see your opinion on the Wii U. I think I'm just still a little bit put off by the tablet personally, but I put them maybe on equal billing, Wii U and PS4, depending on which games appeal to you more.
I wouldn't even hesitate to call it a tablet because it's more alike to the Vita than it is to something like an iPad.
But you do have to use it generally. I mean, I know you can get a Pro controller. You can't just use the interface without the tablet.
You can. I mean, yeah, a lot of it is reliant on the gamepad, but
when it starts up, it puts the menu on the tablet, right? Not on the screen.
Hit the X button on Pro Controller, it's on the screen.
I feel like they've detached themselves from the gimmick a lot.
Yeah, I never use the. I don't think when I turn on my console, I don't even the tablet thing is somewhere. I don't even.
I can't speak to how it was like in the beginning. Maybe they changed that recently. I don't think they did. I think it was from the beginning. You could just shift the perspective with any button on any controller. They never sold the Wii U without the gamepad, right? That was always a package deal.
That's always part of it. Yeah.
I will agree that. Well, okay. There's two things. I think off TV play on the Wii U is the best kind of like extra feature of any of the consoles compared to like I'm never going to use PS4 share play to the best of my knowledge. And on Xbox One, I don't even know. The Kinect is more of a hindrance than anything else.
Yeah.
It constantly is like being activated by accident whenever the Xbox is on, and I'm like, come on. But
it's really just you want to use Kinect? No,
it's
so
like
excited.
Xbox.
Oh.
Sorry.
So can I search on Bing? I really want to search on Bing for you.
Let me look it up. I promise I'll do a good job.
The Wii U is still lagging behind when it comes to digital distribution.
Yeah.
But if you're savvy enough to want digital distribution, you're probably going to. That cat has a cone on its head.
She's having the hardest time doing anything.
She looks like she's really struggling with it.
She gets she'll walk and because she droops her head down when she's walking with that thing on. It gets caught on the rug and then she just stops and she's like, "Fuck, what do I do?" And I'm like, "Just walk. Lift your head up and walk." She wouldn't get into she wouldn't use the open litter box we got for her so she could get into it. She's like, "No, I want to go in the fucking thing with the tiny ass opening."
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to pick her up and squeeze the cone together and put her in the litter box and then wait and then pull her out. Oh, she's so stupid. Good luck.
Poor kitty.
It's the thing is I think the Wii U does suck still for digital distribution, largely because the hard drive is just really small.
Oh yeah.
But if you're savvy enough to care about digital distribution, odds are you probably would just get it on PC.
There's
you would
8 gigabyte Wii U, man. That is obsolete.
Is that the base one or the special edition?
Because I remember that might be
when
only
it came
in Japan,
out.
Actually,
when it came out, I was like, so you can save $50 and get the hard drive, which basically it's like the Xbox 360 they used to offer, the arcade one, where they're like, here's an Xbox 360 and asteroids and a 250 megabyte hard drive. And you're like, what am I going to do with that?
The standard I think is 32 gigs is what I'm seeing here.
Mm-hmm. I think
that was the special, the black version that had the more memory in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot of memory for digital distribution.
Yeah, man, that reminds me of like 32 megabyte PS2 memory cards you have to buy for $25 a pop.
So
They start measuring them in blocks. You got
Yeah.
100 blocks left.
Yeah, it's
The
8
PSP.
for basic and 32 for deluxe.
Deluxe. Watch out.
It's so deluxe.
And there's
But
Elite.
did you have a PSP? Did you see the whole thing with that?
I
The
did
Memory
have a
Stick Pro
PSP.
Duos.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
the
It was
Memory
like
Stick,
$100.
Yeah.
And then they do the same thing with the Vita. It makes me so sad. It's like memory is not that expensive.
Really, it's not. I think about that now. Like, there's a weird argument you can make. You can buy a 3 terabyte drive for your computer for like $100, whereas you get 32
You're dealing-
gigs.
It's a tiny chip though versus a box.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I would
And
fucking
it's
connect
flash
a
memory.
big ass box to my PS4.
Doesn't bother me,
Yeah, that's fine.
We're already doing it for our PCs. Who gives a shit if we do it for our PS4?
We are not about
network
ergonomical design, man. You just give us the space we need.
Stack it up.
Right.
Just give us a bigger box. We'll shove more boxes inside of it, and then
I
it'll
want
get
to
all
put my
together.
balls in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call back to half an hour ago.
That's right, man. All right. Well,
But I want to finish the discussion on a positive note and say that I don't care what you play on as long as you're not a fucking asshole who is totally insufferable about it. And that makes you a cool person. And I hate the elitism. And it's not just surrounding PC. It just comes out more because PC is pretty much objectively the dominant platform, at least in the circles that we run in. But there's people online that are like, fuck you, PS1 or PS4 scrub. You know, my console has blah, blah, blah RAM. Yours has shitty Samsung RAM or something. It's the most stupid thing in the world. Nobody cares.
no, man. Okay, I'm not gonna empathize with them, but I'm going to rationalize this.
Yeah.
In that I am so dead set on the fact that so many of those people, they're not trying to convince you. They're trying to convince them.
Yeah.
They're trying
They
to
spent
convince
their allowance
themselves.
that they
Yeah,
saved for
they had to
years.
make a choice, and they have to make sure that it was the right one.
I was
And
there.
They get
I
a
was
little
doing the same
abrasive
thing.
about it. Yeah,
Also,
But-
that Samsung RAM.
that's Samsung.
It's a little racist. Let's say.
If you're younger, I can understand it, and it's not a fiscal thing. If you're like over the age of 20 and making fun of people for the choices that they're making when it comes to games, and not in a lighthearted way, like if you're like, oh, console peasant, blah blah, and everyone has a laugh about it, that's fine. But there are people who are like genuinely angry or
I
furious.
will kill you.
I was actually a little apprehensive to be like, I'm playing The Witcher 3 on Xbox One. Because I know that there's a contingent of people that will be like, do you not understand? I understand. You live my life, okay? Like, I get it. The PS.
Do you not want to live in your office 24 hours a day, Ryan?
PC is more powerful. I can't deny. That's the whole crux of the argument. Well, PC is more powerful. Yeah, okay.
Correct. I still want to play it on Xbox.
I'm going to play it on Xbox One. No, you don't understand. The PC is more. It's more powerful.
And I don't think these companies need advocates, really. I
You're
think they do their own job.
Like, that's it. You don't work for the company. You don't get paid dividends. You're a consumer, and you're like going out there to defend the company. There's no persecution complex here at all. Like, that's what bothers me is when people become like corporate zealots, and not even in like a hippie way. Like, fuck that, man. But like, why are you wasting your time doing the marketing for them?
Makes them feel good.
It makes me feel bad.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Take a hit of this PC Master Race, brother.
Do you need me to get you a copy of Witcher 3 for the computer, Ryan?
No, I got Farming Simulator, so it's fine.
Oh my god, I think we all got it.
But
I didn't get it.
On
You didn't get
PS4,
it?
though.
Okay.
I got a tweet from somebody who's like, why are you playing Witcher 3 on Xbox? Or, sorry, not why. And I don't mean to call this guy out, but it said,
How could you?
you're playing Witcher 3 on Xbox One? That's sad. And then I sent him a tweet, and I was like, why is that sad? Like, this is just what's most convenient for me. And he's like, looks good on PC. It's like,
You're really missing out, bro.
You sort of made me feel bad because it looks good on PC.
You're gonna get to the end of the game and realize how many of those pixels you regret not seeing.
It's
man.
just not the same, man.
It's not the same game. It really isn't. I mean, what did you play Inquisition on?
PS4. It's huge.
And not only
mistake.
did you play it on the PS4, you betrayed the PS4 to play on the Xbox One.
Well, that's in Kate's office now, so it's like.
You just want to wade through the fucking gallows of console peasantry, man.
I want to be informed in my opinions about, if I'm going to shit on a piece of hardware, I want to actually have experienced it, not just read the discourse online.
I don't like the idea that no matter what decision you make, it's wrong.
Well, Obviously,
Can't we just get over that?
Welcome to the internet.
You can't play Dragon Age Inquisition on PC because then you have to use Origin. So
That's true.
Oh, that you can get away with. Okay, as long as you're. So,
That's
Like
a
having to
good
play
way
any
around-
Assassin's
yes.
Creed game and having to go through fucking Uplay and hoping
Yeah,
for
or having to play any. Apparently, Blizzard gets a pass because anything that you have to use. I don't even remember what it's fucking called.
Battle.net.
Battle.net.
Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah, there's no problem there.
We like Blizzard and we like Valve.
I don't know why I actually don't mind Battle.net. Battle.net's not cumbersome like
yeah,
Origin is.
I share that feeling. Like now that I was thinking about it, I don't really have an issue with booting up Battle.net to play things.
Because they don't make you wade through 4 pages to get to your games.
Yeah, that's true.
You know who
Battle.net has a
doesn't
really good
use-
interface for that.
You know who doesn't use DRM? CD Projekt Red
It's true.
That's right. Project.
Project.
Project. Ryan uses DRM. It's called the Xbox One.
Got him.
Ryan is DRM.
So I'm thinking Wii U would be my. Boil it
in
down.
ours-
Final recommendation. Just no explanation. Just pick one. I'm going with Wii U.
Wii U.
I'm going with pick it based on the games you like.
Oh, come on. Make a choice.
You have to pick
Make
an
a choice,
actual
man. Yeah. You got to pick one. If you could only get one console of the 3.
All right, Wii U.
All
Get
right.
Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
if you have a gaming PC, it should be the Wii U. If you don't have a gaming PC, I don't think it matters.
All right. That'll
Done.
work. I can live with that. Next on the docket. We of course welcome the 4 pages of PC Master Race comments for.
And that's
this
fine. I mean,
episode.
it is right. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best way, man.
Objectively, the gaming PC is better than all of the other ones.
It's just like Ryan said. We just live different lives where we want to get out of our office.
Yeah.
Everyone's
And we never really analyzed what if you just don't have a PC at all and you want one of these consoles.
Yeah,
Then it
that's
would probably
true.
go more PS4.
People who watch this are like in that niche, like relatively savvy.
Usually
But-
watching this on their gaming PCs.
Right. But I know there's people out there that will be, like students or otherwise unable to fiscally, responsibly buy a gaming PC, and then it becomes more of an issue. But that's this.
If you want to stay up to date and you don't have anything, I'd probably say PS4 then.
That works. Okay.
Cool.
I want to
Just
talk
get
about
the PS4 because people won't make fun of you.
just get something and then don't tell anyone. It's like winning the lottery. The best way to experience the console that you want to play on is to just play it and never talk about it ever.
That's actually
Like
how
the
I try to
Secret Sex
interact now. Is like I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do and talk to nobody.
Freaking
always
console
giving you
play
shit.
is like eyes wide shut. Go to some hidden mansion in the woods and play your console games. Don't tell anybody about it.
It's going to boil down to that at some point. There's just going to be like this community of people that venture out into this commune and play PS4.
Can we call it a guild?
Oh, that's probably better, yeah.
Guild.
I'm waiting for my Steam box to get here. I'm gonna play that
I
with
did
the Xbox
kind of want to bring that
controller.
up, yeah. The Steam box.
I was at PDXCon 2014. They had like in the lobby of the hotel, they had EU4 set up on like a big screen TV, and the guys were playing it with the Steam controller with like the 2 clicky wheels. And I'm like, come on, man, nobody's gonna play an EU4 with a controller. Look, I'm all for whatever kind of gameplay you want, but nobody's gonna like be moving the trackpad over here and then like the other one to try to rotate to what they need. I'm like. It's amazing that it can work literally. It's like StarCraft on the N64. It's like nobody wants to be using the N64 controller for StarCraft, man.
I didn't want to use the N64 controller for anything. I hate that controller, man. And people try to sell me on it. It's bad. It's a bad
You remember
controller.
trying to aim in GoldenEye?
Oh my god, it's
How
impossible.
you had to nudge the C up and C down with like the side of your hand to look up and.
Hands aren't constructed to use that fucking thing, man. You need to be a crab to utilize that
How
shit.
did that get through? Like,
don't know.
The second analog stick is like the greatest invention in gaming history. I cannot play first-person shooters prior to that era. I played the shit out of Perfect Dark when I was like 13. I've tried to go back to it. I can't do it. My brain is just like you have to like hold R and then move the.
where's the other joystick? Why can't you freely control
Pretty
it?
awkward.
You're popping some peas, man.
Am I?
You're a pea popper. There you go.
You don't have your spit
Explosive.
catcher.
This is my old. This is Kate's old microphone. I've got one with a pop filter coming in.
My current microphone.
Yeah, it's Nick's current microphone.
So what's next on the docket?
What is next on the docket? Let's talk about City Skylines, getting a little bit more content. Okay, so when was the last time you guys booted up City Skylines looking on Steam right now? That's
Probably
what I
2
want to
months
know.
ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I have I know how many hours. I think I have 20-something hours in it.
I got March 27th was the last time for me.
March 29th was the last time for me.
March 24th for me.
And I don't even know. Where the hell is it?
It's in C.
Starts with C, yeah.
And, no, I mean, never mind. I don't know
Well,
how to use
all right, so
C
it's probably been a
properly,
while for all of us. I don't know if this is going to bring me back to it, so I'm trying to think. So City Skylines is getting some additional content, and it's suitable. I think it's about the
free.
the time.
Suitable.
Yeah,
It's free.
It's free.
free,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
So that's a weird word to use based on the fact that it's free content. Free new
They're
stuff.
adding
for
a
City
lot of
Skylines.
things that people wanted, and there's still a rabid community for this game, I'm pretty sure.
Let's actually see how many people are playing this right now. That's a good question too.
It's what tunnels, European land like marks, European building styles, and a bunch of other things. Because one of my big complaints about the game initially was that the building variety was minor.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but I downloaded so many fucking mods for building variety that wasn't a problem.
I see my own curator recommendation for City Skylines. Just says Sim City, more like Sim Shitty. Ha 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 ha.
Nice.
ha, ha,
How many followers did that get you?
At least like 150, man. Curator page blowing up. I think I reached a point in Skylines, and I can't remember if I've actually said this already too, but once I accomplished all of the tangible goals in the game, I was pretty much done. And I don't know how common that is with city builders. I think a lot of people look at this not as a game of quantifiable objectives, but as a game of I want to make the coolest shit I can make and continually upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and always be improving. ABI, that's the agenda of City Skylines.
I got to a point where I came to the realization that this is as good as I can get with the amount of time I was putting into it, and if I want to get any better, I need to dedicate a lot more time. I was just like, I'm good. I had a really good time with it. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's like a summer romance or something. Like I put 33 hours into it in the course of like a month. I was obsessed with it for about a week. Like that's a pretty good amount of time for a game of that scope, and I could go back to it, but I don't really feel compelled to go back to it because I think part of what made it compelling was the fact that everybody was playing it, and you could have these conversations and be like, "Whoa, look at my roads!" And like if you come back and you post you tweet a screenshot of that in like 6 months, you're gonna get people are gonna be like, "Are you still playing that?" Like it's a good game, but like all kind of like sandbox endless games, there comes a time where you're just kind of like, I've had a lot of fun with this, but I would have a better time playing something else now, and that's just you kind of phase out. Like this is not enough to bring me back, but it's not like it's a failure at all, especially financially. And I don't know what they could do to bring me back at this point. If someone came out with a city builder tomorrow and it was like, this is 5% better than City Skylines and free, I still don't think I would be compelled to play it right now.
The modding community is still very much at large here, and that's what's interesting about it too. With them releasing this free expansion content, there's already a lot of people that have been making stuff that addresses the issues that the community has. They've already taken care of their own problems, which, is speaking volumes again to why City Skylines was so successful, is because they let people do what they wanted to do with it. And that translated to we've already touched on this a little bit, like the fears that EA had with SimCity of we want to maintain control and keep our baby away from the evils of the modding community and people that are going to steal things and be terrible. Million units sold speaks volumes as far as how allowing folks to make their own stuff for your game can elongate the lifespan of it. But I share the sentiment of there's not a lot that they could show me that would make me want to come back to it. Unless you could play as Godzilla and you have to use Godzilla's claws to pick up and put buildings down, and you're all clumsy, your tail's knocking shit down all over the place.
Management Godzilla. He's trying hard.
That's a great idea, man. Let's get hammered, and by that I mean let's really hammer down on Unity, learn it.
Let's get really hammered.
Then we'll get really drunk, and we'll make like Octodad, but as Godzilla in a big cityscape instead of like in a domestic context.
And he's an architect.
And he's a loaf of bread.
Oh, okay.
Who is also a goat.
Oh no.
We're done.
I went from real excited to real sad like instantly.
We could just get hammered.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
I think that's where it lands, isn't it?
But City Skylines, yeah, new content. Well, okay, so yeah, this is an interesting question to pose of what would bring you back? What would bring you back to City Skylines? I'll ask you guys too if you want to answer this. I'm mostly asking the listeners. What would bring
I just
you guys
need to
back?
investigate mods more. I think honestly, I just need a little bit more free time to explore it. But I would be interested in seeing the weird things that people have come up with and how that is augmented against other things people have come up with.
Mm-hmm.
I think just time. It's like binging on your favorite food for a week straight and then just getting sick of it. I mean, eventually you'll want it again, but you just need to wait. And when I get the itch, I'll go back. But until then, I probably just won't.
It sounds rude or even dismissive, but I think I actually owe City Skylines like a debt of gratitude, because I did reach a point where I was like reading about like traffic simulation and stuff like that, and I was like, well, if I'm going to invest this much time, I might as well learn like a real skill. It's like me stopping City Skylines is like right when I started learning programming, and I think it's kind of like I might as well just invest like that 2 hours a day into actually improving myself.
Man, that is way too responsible.
Well,
It's very adult of you, sir.
I was on like wiki books being like, I'm going to read about the central tenets of traffic management, so people stop making fun of me for building these shitty intersections. I was like, I could just like learn something.
It
Like,
made me really. Sorry, go ahead.
That YouTube Let's Players get when we have people in these comments like, I need to change my lifestyle, so you can't yell at me anymore.
it's pretty much true, yeah.
No, it made me really respect the position of traffic manager or whatever that is called in the city planning committee. That is really hard. And I even now, sometimes I will drive through intersections and roadways I've never seen before and think to myself, this is really smart. Like, I completely take this for granted as I'm just driving down a main road, but this is well constructed to continue flows of traffic, and I should appreciate this generous stranger who made my daily life and commute that much easier. But it doesn't really matter much anymore because I live in my little, cave.
The lasting impact of the game is definitely that I have like an appreciation for the beauty of roads.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
See like an overhead shot of an intersection or like a highway off-ramp, on-ramp, I'm like, oh, fucking so sexy. That shit.
It's like hard on.
Yeah, the manages input and output so efficiently. Fuck.
I never thought I'd be sexually aroused by an off-ramp until I played City Skylines.
You should see Quill's like cloverleaf intersections, man.
Oh, I don't think I can handle it. That's
Probably.
not a good idea right now.
God, that's not some Bush League City Skylines shit.
I'm getting a half chub just thinking about it.
You gotta build up your tolerance before you go down that road. Start basing cloverleaf intersections.
That's like some
Meanwhile,
German
my
dungeon
highways-
porn, the equivalent of that, man.
My highway has like an exit every mile. It's like just an exit.
Oh my
all
God.
the time. I was like, this will work.
It's function.
I was just making highways off into the ocean, letting people get stuck out on them. That was what I thought was fun.
You could make a mod that allows cars to transform into boats.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, there was also a little glitch in the early development of the game where cruise ships, took liberties of scaling up onto
Not
the
even,
land, and then
like,
what was
early
it?
in development. That was just fixed, I think.
Oh, really? Wow.
In this recent update, that was fixed. Land ships were fixed.
Yeah, depending on
Land
where you
ships.
put like your harbor or wharf or whatever, cruise ship terminal, they would sometimes go overland.
And somebody even made like a little dirt road for the boat to take because it would always go through the same way.
That's really good.
Oh man, yeah. I now that I'm talking about it again, I kind of want to go back in and try it out a little bit more to see where I left off. I probably left things in a completely cluttered, chaotic mess, and that might be why
you don't stop playing City Skylines when you're on the ascendancy.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got some kind of garbage problem that I can't fix. Like, I'll
Fuck
come back
this.
to it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Never again.
March 20th.
March 20th. Man, time is flying by. That's crazy.
It's been like a really, really solid 2 or 3 months for video games.
has.
It really has, yeah.
Absolutely.
That only came out like almost 3 months ago now. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
The community's still thriving too. I didn't actually get the numbers on how many people are playing it at
Check
the moment.
rate.
I think it's like maybe about a few hundred even, but
There's 8,500 playing 40 minutes ago.
wow.
Seems
Okay.
to peak at around maybe like 12,000 a day. That's really good.
That is amazing actually.
In March. Okay, so the peak players in August of 2014 must have been like beta or something like that, was 5. In March 2015, its percentage gain was plus 4,800,184.5%.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
incredible.
lot. Average players was 26,000. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maya, leave your cone on, you dumb.
But average players was 26,000. The average for like this month is like 8,000. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's only lost like 2/3. It seems huge, but you're never going to go up.
No,
Like,
yeah.
1 in a trillion games will go up. Dota.
Isaac went up.
Well, yeah, when Rebirth came out or when expansions and stuff come out, like that's pretty good though to hold on to it for that long.
Well done, Paradox. We still commend
And
you.
what was the developers called?
Colossal Order.
Colossal Order.
I'm interested to see if it's got more players or less than Pillars of Eternity.
They started with 9 developers, and they're now up to 11 developers.
Is
gotta be
Pillars of
more.
Eternity still hanging around?
I think it's probably one of those games that people like played and then didn't return.
But yeah, you don't go back to it once you've beaten it.
It has a 42,000 all-time peak, but an average of like 4,000 right now.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's still surprising too. I was actually thinking Pillars of Eternity is a game that people probably still haven't finished that have been playing it since it came out.
It's possible for sure.
All right, well, there's that. Also, new Bloodborne content has been announced. We don't really have any info about it, but that's just kind of an APB for you.
I'll let you know when I get through the Cleric Beast, all right?
Yeah,
Dude, you were
that.
tweeting about Bloodborne. You were like tweeting. I can't remember if it was your impressions or something. And I was like, oh man, this must have played like a lot. Like 2 weeks later, you were tweeting about finally getting to the Cleric Beast, and I was like,
I couldn't find the shortcut until that one day. I was taking the
That's
long run to the Cleric Beast every
it's the
time I
spoiler.
died.
Yeah.
The Cleric Beast is the first boss.
Yeah. Oh, fuck him. Fuck him.
Really sucks
took-
having to go the long way every time.
Yeah, it did. And I took the cane as the weapon too, so I'm like pecking at him. I'm like,
the cane's not bad though. I've heard. I've never used it, but the axe has been my thing.
People love the axe, right?
I
yeah,
love
because
the
it
axe.
hits hard.
I'm still on Saw Cleaver meta. I like it.
Plus 10, man. I just finished the game last night.
I'll let
It
you
was
know. when I-
quite a struggle. It was
I think I've
really
died
hard.
to the Cleric Beast like 10 times so far.
Get good,
It's not
scrub.
easy. You get beaten by the Cleric Beast, and then you learn how to fight in the game. You know, they're like,
Or you don't, and you play it for 40 more hours like me. And
because you didn't
You
read
just
the
refuse to
tutorials.
learn and toil on.
there was this one
Tutorials.
message that I kind of glanced over when I started the Let's Play, and everybody's like, nope, you're fucked now. You'll never figure it out. It's a hard game, though.
So yeah, they've announced that expansion content is on the way, so that's exciting.
Cool.
Did they announce that there's like no details at all?
I don't think there's anything. Yeah, they just said there's going to be more details later this year. Probably something in E3. I would imagine they.
Bloodborne will be
Maybe some
getting
of
an
that, though.
expansion.
Yeah. More or less.
Probably have some
Just-
bosses in it.
This
That'd be
is-
my guess.
When I suggested this, I didn't realize that it was a tweet from Shuhei Yoshida. It
Yeah,
just said,
it's.
an expansion is coming. More info later this year.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah. At Yosp, if you want to get the inside scoop on what's going on with that.
A lot to learn.
Oh yeah, I think he's a fun guy to follow. Actually.
Yeah, he's cool.
All right, let's discuss.
Cooler than Major Nelson. Am I right,
Yeah.
Sony Bros?
Yeah.
I met him at an
Do you want a
airport.
fist pound?
God, I had the most. I think I told you guys this. I had the most corporate interaction with Major Nelson I think I've ever had with any sort of like noteworthy entity in the games industry. Oh, it was.
Just when you met him at the airport?
Yeah, I see him at the airport, and you gotta say hi to Major Nelson, obviously. So I go up to him and say, "Hey, Major Nelson, right?" And he said, "Hey, yeah, how you doing?" And I said, "Oh, hi, I just wanted to come up and say hi to you." And he's like, "Oh, cool. What are you playing on your console?" Like it was like right out of the gate. It was like I was desperately
He didn't
trying to
say-
think of like what I
He didn't
played.
say Xbox One.
No, he said console. What are you playing on your console? I remember it because it
Interesting.
sounded so It was so corporate.
He was ready. Yeah, he was like,
oh
it's
yeah,
just second nature.
No, he's rehearsed these interactions, man. Absolutely. He was way too prepared for me to come up to talk to him in an airport than anyone really ever should be. Yeah. It really did. I was taking it back. Spelunky. I like that game on my Xbox 360. And yeah, and then I took a picture with him and then we made out. So anyway, not a hero. Professional assassin turned amateur campaign manager Steve is charged with cleaning up the city by an rabbit and mayoral candidate from the future named Bunny Lord. Bunny Lord was... I don't know if that was like a game in and of itself, or I think that was their weird PR campaign they were doing. Yeah. Like Bunny Lord is hacking the system and stuff like that. It's published by Devolver Digital, developed by Roll7, who sound familiar. Ollie. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's out on Steam right now, $13. Mathis and Ryan got a little bit of experience with it. What'd you guys think of it?
Mathis, why don't you start?
Yeah, I think you and I have differing opinions. I like it a lot. There's a few complaints I have about it, but it's an interesting take on the cover shooter. It's a 2D cover shooter. Really? Relax. It's a 2D cover shooter.
What do you think of Not a Hero, Maya?
Jesus Christ, you guys should have seen that. Anyway, she's a focus 2D cover shooter. That's pixel art style. One of my complaints is the controls for the most part work well. One of the things I don't like about it is that the cover and the slide button are the same button. So there have been plenty of times where I've slid out of cover and gotten shot at. It kind of presents itself as almost like pseudo puzzle-like because you kind of just look for the best ways to deal with the enemies as they come at you. When you're taking cover, you can shoot out of cover, but you can't really move. Enemies tend to take cover and like slowly progress towards you as you're going through the hallway. Some enemies you can slide tackle and then just kill. Some enemies you try to slide tackle, they'll knock you back. Some enemies have guns that just knock you back. So you kind of have to like assess the situation very quickly and like via kind of just Twitch responses, figure out how you want to go through each hallway. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. I'm watching the trailer muted right now.
Oh, they punch a ball sack in it. It's really funny.
There's like sexy Spanish Jesus and a block coming out of someone's eye that just says stuff. And it's just flashing on screens like, more stuff! So much excitement! Anyway, go ahead.
The cool thing about it, too, is that there's like 8 or 10 characters, something like that, and each one has special abilities. So, like, Steve...
Wonder Bats! Sorry, go!
It's fine. Steve, the character you start with, for his thing is he can reload quickly. The next guy you unlock, he's like... he's kind of like just like a redneck. He's got a shotgun. Only has 5 shots, but it's really deadly up close. Next one that I've unlocked is the girl. Her thing is she can run and reload at the same time. So they have unique kind of gimmicks to each one, so you can kind of just play how you want. I like it. It's fun.
It seems like it's got a jazz punk-esque humor to it.
Oh, the humor is ridiculous. Bunny Lord is like taking out crime, but most of the time you're not even sure if these guys are criminals. And the press conferences he's giving you, like telling you why you're going to kill them, are just nonsense. Sometimes he's wearing a hat with like an arrow going through. Sometimes he just has a dead fox next to him. Sometimes he summons the god called Brian. Like, it's just nonsense.
Yo, if the mayor made a public statement at a press conference with a dead fox next to him, I'd be inclined to believe whatever he said because that man has nothing to hide at that point.
I think the Bunny Lord press conferences and the interactions that you have after missions at like the diner are the funniest part. But unfortunately, I also find them very long.
They do take a while.
So and there's no voice acting; it's all in text, which is not to say that it's not funny, but the temptation is way too high to skip. It's like if you have like a bag of potato chips, you're like, these potato chips are pretty good. I should have like the one at a time to savor it, but you're gonna relent. You're gonna have a handful of them. So I find myself, I'm like very tempted to skip past the best part, in my opinion, of the game.
I wish they would let you like speed the text up, like hold A and let the text go down, but it's always like at the pace he's talking, so it's also awkward to read at the same time.
The missions typically, at least early, if you don't mess up, are going to be like 45 seconds, 2 minutes, somewhere in there, and then the dialogue between the missions can be like 2 or 3 minutes. So it creates kind of a weird pacing issue for me, where I'm like, most of the time of the game is not spent playing it. And that is true for like a lot of games, but this to me is kind of like it's like a 2D but side-scrolling version of Hotline Miami.
I was gonna say that. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a cover. It's an action pseudo stealth game. It's a little bit more fast paced most of the time. In Hotline Miami, less stealth based, sort of. But it's definitely got that vibe to it. In Hotline Miami, you could spend like 25 minutes on a mission, and then you get like a minute of story, and it feels like that's kind of a satisfying way to output it. Whereas in this, it's like if you succeed, you could have like 3 minutes of him talking to you, sight read the mission, and beat all the side missions like the first or second try in 2 minutes, and then get another 3 minutes of talking right after that. And I find it awkwardly paced for me.
It's got that Ollie Ollie feel almost of trying to perfect the stage over and over again too.
What's interesting is I actually played a lot of Ollie Ollie 2 while I was away last month, and I really like Ollie Ollie 2. I think that game's awesome. I don't really like Not a Hero. I don't think it's terrible, but I find it awkward to play for the pacing reasons. And like Matt has said, the controls, the fact that like cover and slide are on the same is awkward. And the fact, beyond that, for whatever reason, and not everyone has had this issue, but I've tried it with the 360 controller. I've tried it with keyboard and mouse. I get like maybe a quarter second of input lag, which is very, very noticeable, specifically on menus. If I hit play, it's like it doesn't always register on the first try. And if I spam the button, then it's like like it accepts it then.
I haven't noticed it, but I'm curious if it's been happening. I just haven't been paying attention to it.
I think you would notice. But it could be my hardware issue, but I don't know. It's probably my hardware issue because no one else is complaining about it, but I'm also not complaining about it with any other games. Which doesn't mean it's not my fault. Probably just a weird driver interaction or something. But it's annoying, and when a game is like so kind of fast-paced and demands perfection or at least adequacy, then it makes it difficult. Yes, hello. Oh, thank you. That's lovely, lovely rap.
Ooh.
That will taunt me as I await to eat it in about
1 hour.
45 minutes.
Now I'm getting hungry.
So, I mean, it's weird. I don't really like it. By the end of my time playing it, I was like, there's a lot of good stuff. It's funny, but I don't think it's worth playing the stuff that I don't really like to get to the funny stuff. But I like Roll 7, but I don't really like Not a Hero. I hope Ollie Ollie 2 comes to PC. That game's like really fun.
Final conclusion, Mathis?
I like it. I think it has its issues. Like I said, I think Ryan's on point with the pacing problems and the like I said, the slide and the cover button being the same button. But I've been able to overlook it and still really enjoy my time with it.
Devolver, I think they've got a pretty damn good track record up to this point, so I won't feel too bad about the fact that they've got one that maybe is not, top of the line here. Looking at, oh my god, yeah, they've actually got even better than I thought they did. Looking at the
Were
past,
it not
even
for the controls being fudged up for me, I would be fine with like the pacing issue because I would just skip by the text and count it as a loss. But I did enjoy at least like the style of the gameplay. It was just unsatisfying because it didn't really work properly for me. But it's a game that I could like were it not for that.
Fair enough. Not a Hero, $13, out on Steam right now. If you want to check it out, link's going to be in the description. And then finally, the one that we've reserved 45 minutes of the show to discuss because we know it's going to take that long. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. First of all, who's played the first two?
I played the second one.
Okay.
I played the first one slightly.
I've played both.
And I played none. So we have literally every possible combination. Yeah. That's perfect. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was released on GOG Galaxy as well as Steam to the tune of $60. Obviously, I think the majority of people know what's going on with this one. If you have no clue, you play as Geralt of Rivia. He is a witcher who are kind of mutants, I guess is what you want to call them. Brought into this fantasy world. It's actually based off of a book.
Yeah.
Or a series of books. Yeah. And the Witchers dispose of these fantastical creatures that inhabit kind of an old peasantry village time of history. And okay, The Witcher 3
like
Wild Hunt is fucking fantastic. Thus far.
Yeah. It's I think I have 7 hours in it so far, and I'm still in White Orchard.
Really?
which is the opening zone.
Yeah, that's surprising.
I
to
did
me.
a bunch of quests. I did 7 hours in. Just did last night the quest that progresses you out of White Orchard, and then I went back to White Orchard to finish up the map.
And I was telling Matt this, but if you have not done that, you should do that if you want to do everything, because quests will automatically fail if you advance past story quests.
It's funny because people were, in Dragon Age Inquisition, people were bitching that the Hinterlands was too big and took too long. And I agree. I hated the Hinterlands, but the problem that I had with Inquisition, a lot of it was fetch questing.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 doesn't feel like that. At least not a lot of what I've done. I know there's a little bit of fetch questing here and there, and I have done a little bit. But for the most part, like the whole world so far, the White Orchard area at least, feels like every corner of the world has been specially tended to. And there's always something to discover or something to look at. Even if it's just a rundown building that has nothing there, it looks like something happened. And it's like maybe dead bodies lying around that are skeletons at this point. It's like some sort of conflict happened here. I'm curious what it was.
Make sure you use those Witcher senses to find out what happened.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm almost done with White Orchard. I found one place in White Orchard that has like level 12 monsters roaming around it, so I had to like leave. But I really there's so much to do in that first area, and none of it feels like filler. And that's what I'm loving so far. And that was my problem with Inquisition. Everything felt like filler. So far with Witcher, for me, that has not been the case.
That's not fair. I agree with you. It's not fully fair to Inquisition, which I will take a stand for.
I put all the Dragon Ages up to the Dragon Age Inquisition and some of Dragon. I hated Inquisition.
A lot of Inquisition is filler quests. I would not dispute that. And the Hinterlands is rightfully maligned for a lot of basically bullshit, go grab this, come back to town, go grab this, come back to town. But the story quests are really, really strong. It's not a game that's 100% filler quests. By volume, it's probably 98% filler quests. But you could also just ignore 75% of those and focus on the meat of it. But I agree that if you're the kind of person that wants to exhaustively play through that entire game, it's going to be boring as shit.
That's a problem for an RPG, an open world RPG.
It's a problem for a type of RPG player. I had a great time with Inquisition.
I hated it.
And by the end of the story with Inquisition, I was like, this is enough. I don't need to go back. I don't really care.
There's two things.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go.
There's two things that I am really loving thus far, outside of just generally talking about how good it is, about The Witcher 3. One, people fucking run at the speed that you run.
Yes!
When you're on a sort of escort quest or you have a partner with you for an objective, which has happened in games recently, but I can't believe it took this long for that to be a staple.
That doesn't work for me. Maybe it's a PC and Xbox One thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, if you have an objective that's follow person, and you hold A or whatever to run, you will pass them, and they'll run behind you.
That is unfortunate as hell.
Yeah. It's happened with 5 or 6 different missions like that, where it's follow this person to here, and they stay behind you when you run at full speed, and I'm like...
No, right from the get-go, I saw... So you start out... Okay, this is going to be the world's smallest spoiler, but you start out as... You're playing as Geralt, and you've got this other Witcher who's your companion, who's kind of an older, wise ancient of the Witcher clan. And you are riding horseback together, and... I was just, kind of trotting along at first because I thought I was having to follow him, but then I wanted to sprint off to see if I could find something on the other side of the map, and as soon as I started going faster, I saw that he sped up too, and I was like, this is so great! Why hasn't this happened before? And then I realized you can just go at whatever speed you want, and they'll follow you. But it's not even that they'll follow you around, it's they'll take you to where you need to go, and you can go at whatever speed you choose to do. So that is great. Okay, that's just a tiny little thing. But there's also the big one that I am really enjoying, which is, up to this point, I haven't done a quest thus far that I didn't feel like I wanted to do.
That's exactly
which is an important distinction. Yeah. Like you said it as well, but kind of an even finer point I want to make on that is they make quests that naturally just sort of integrate into your exploration, which is very difficult. I feel like I should make a highlight on that of that's not easy. It's hard to, put things in your way without them feeling like obstacles, which is kind of a problem that plagues a lot of these open world exploration games. I think Fallout did a pretty good job of this too. More specifically, like Fallout 3 had a great mindset of let's just let them go to places and just think from like the perspective of a player. If I saw this thing over here and put the pieces together in my head, what would I want to get out of that? And then you just build the quest line from there. The Witcher does an extremely good job of making that happen a lot.
I would do a little bit of Fallout and I do a little bit of Red Dead when I'm doing my comparisons here.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
I can see that too.
And the world really does feel alive. I'm someone who meanders like crazy. I don't play games to straight up progress them ever. I just wander and I have experiences and I let it go. And I think if I could do another really tiny spoiler, a very early quest involves talking to a lady who needs a pan.
I think we all really like this one.
I like that one.
Thing. Like, why is this? Are they poking fun at themselves? Are they poking fun at RPGs and silly fetch quests? And you realize maybe they are, but also this quest actually has a point. And you might not expect it. And when you go in, you're like, oh, maybe there's something more to this that you wouldn't have noticed. And also, you got to use your Witcher powers, too.
Oh,
and it's a tutorial element, too. Because they make you use rune for that. So they've rolled multiple points in to one thing.
Exactly. That actually reminded me of one other big thing, which is weird of me to get so excited about, much like the speed at which you can walk with people. The bestiary isn't useless.
Yeah, that's true.
For once, the glossary stuff actually has an impact and a bearing on what you do. You have to go into the bestiary in the glossary and look into the information, maybe not particularly for the characters as much, but for all the monsters that you're fighting, the bestiary contains information that really does help you to progress and help you in those fights. Like, it'll tell you the weaknesses it has to your particular signs that you have available. It can tell you what kind of potions you can craft to have an advantage against them. It can tell you what kind of resources that you can gain. I think what's the third thing? I think something like that. But that's rare too. Very often, I just completely disregard that information.
I appreciate that they're thematically consistent because they've positioned your character as a professional, someone who does the research, and they actually put you in the role of someone who does the research, and it really does help you as a character to spend extra time figuring that stuff out. And they pander to that a little bit at the beginning by showing you how that all works, and they make quests that feed into that to then give you the tools to make it happen later.
Yeah.
That's kind of similar to what I was going to say. I was like, this is one of the few RPGs that make you a hero, make you a badass, and immediately recognize it from minute one. Like, you are seen and respected or feared as this person who can take care of these monsters that no mortal person can take care of. And the game treats you like that. And treats you like, even though this tutorial is teaching you, it never treats you as, oh, he's the boy from a village who's going to be saving the world. Right. No, you're somebody in this world who's been doing this for, somewhere around, like, I think Geralt's probably been doing this since he was, I think in the books,
he's like nearly 100
close
years
to
old.
100 years old, something like that. And people fear you, you have a reputation, and you feel like you're powerful right from level 1. And I love that when a game does that for you.
That's another aspect of it as well, is that level 1 doesn't feel like level 1 in this game. Level 1 just feels like, level 1 feels just as significant as like level 15.
You're fighting demons, right? Like, you're not. It's not like they start out with the traditional level 1 where there's like, war hogs,
turtles,
or something.
And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we've got like some raccoons have gotten into our blueberry patch. Can you go murder them, please? Like, it is like right from the get-go. It's like we have serious problems going on, and like, can you murder these demons because nobody else can do it?
And Geralt's dialogue is always fucking. I love listening to him talk because he's so he's Batman. He's basically a medieval Batman bounty hunter. But what was that?
I have to say, I hate his voice. It grates on my ears.
I'm 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to. I've known it since the first 2 games. It's the same voice actor.
It just seems like him now, so I'm kind of used to it.
I don't think it's bad, but the way that the lines are delivered does sort of emphasize, or it for me makes it feel a little bit more like really amateur, kind of like gritty fan fiction.
It's tough for his character to express emotion. I liken it to something like Connor's character in Assassin's Creed 3, where he's just like always kind of at the same level of, I'm really sad now.
According to lore,
I'm really happy.
Something they never explain in the games is, like, according to lore, like, Witchers are not supposed to have them. After they go through all the mutations, they are devoid of emotion. But Geralt is for some reason, like, he has a little bit of empathy, and that's why he has, like, lovers and stuff.
I wonder how much I even believe that.
They don't explain that at all.
Yeah.
Outside of the books.
It just doesn't seem like that's happening. Even with the old dude, like he expresses some emotions pretty
Again,
clearly.
it's more it's prominent in the books. I don't know how much CD
that makes
Projekt
sense.
Red is
What
kind
is
of
his
pulling that
name?
in.
The old guy.
Vesemir.
Vesemir, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's well, okay. I think it might even relate to my experience then, because you just mentioned like you're used to it because you played the first 2 games. I was actually talking to Rumble Muffin about it too. He was mentioning how he played the first 2 games and now it's just kind of grown used to it. But that's a negligible point anyway. Whether or not
The writing
voice.
is so good. And the game is so rich in lore in like all aspects, and it's delivered so well. It's not just like another thing Inquisition was really bad with was the world was full of lore, but how you found 80% of it or 90% of it was pieces of paper, and you click on them and they pop up, and it's like, wow, Lorenhalt was blah blah blah, and you're like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah,
I'm still the guy though that reads the books in Witcher. Like I'll get a book and I'll be like, oh, time to read.
Yeah, there's still pieces of paper in Witcher. But
I've had
there's
a couple.
lot more show than tell, I think.
Yes,
That's a game where we were talking about pacing with Not a Hero, where I was like, I'm okay in The Witcher if it's like 80% dialogue and 20% gameplay, because that's what I'm there for in that case. I'm like, I don't want to skip through the dialogue. They give you the option, but it's so good, and it's like that's why you're there, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's really well written, and in particular, like scripted. Like the writing is good, but the design of the writing is really good.
Little things like when people are explaining a monster to Geralt, like he's trying to figure out what's going on, and as they're explaining, he's just musing to himself, sounds like this, could be this, well, this, and it means this. And you're like, no, I feel like I know what the... Yeah,
he's got an
I feel like I know
encyclopedic
what's
knowledge
going
of
on.
this shit, yeah.
And like going to and like the scenes of like maybe like a monster having killed a bunch of people and being able to like go to each body and be like, course marks here, this, that. You're a medieval Batman with superpowers. It's really cool.
If you're gonna do a power fantasy, you got to really embody the character.
do.
And they have actually done it here.
Yeah,
which
I
is
love
so
it.
rare to see people really take it on full on. I
think
have one little complaint though. Yeah, I don't know if you guys found this to be kind of taking you out of immersion, but when the dialogue trees put you in a position where you can select the same one multiple times, and if you maybe don't realize you did it, and then he says the same line in the same inflection,
It would be great if they
like
responded to that like, I literally just told you that.
right.
That would be
serious?
awesome.
Like, why do they leave that in? Why, once you use the line, just take it away?
Yeah,
What do you have to gain from
Or
that?
make it a lot darker or something. Because
I guess
kind
it's
of the similar color.
If you
but
weren't paying
it's-
attention, they want to give you the option to get it again. But
Hear it again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree,
It's a
though.
super small thing, but
It's definitely not a perfect game. I mean, my complaints, I think, are a lot of other people's complaints. He moves with the grace of an Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
character without the ability
So
to
chunky.
parkour up
The
anything.
movement is
He's
bad.
very chunky. It's very
And
chunky.
on horses is bad as
Oh,
well.
It
God,
feels like
the
a horse to
horses,
start.
man.
When he's on a horse, he's like double horse.
I think that's true. Yeah.
It's definitely
Double
not
horse
the
Geralt.
smoothest. And that was, and I know it's gonna sound weird, but if I like Witcher 2 was similar out of combat movement. It was very clunky, but at least in combat, it's way better in The Witcher 3. Witcher 2 was when you were in an animation, that was a long animation in The Witcher 2. Witcher 3, it's a lot quicker, and you can kind of dodge roll out of it a lot faster.
The fall damage is ridiculous as well, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah, it's silly.
it's highlighted by the fact that the movement is clunky, so you'll find yourself falling down a lot. So you'll fall off of a ledge, and you're like, 80% of my HP is gone. Like,
And
I
that's
felt
a
like
big
10
deal too, because it takes a lot to restore vitality, unless you just want to
what's
meditate
the
every time.
Yeah.
I play on the 3rd difficulty, so meditation doesn't even heal me.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Dude, this guy's supposed to be so freaking professional and important, and he takes 80% of his health from falling 5 feet. What's
Yeah.
up with it? He can jump higher than that.
It is silly. I mean, I don't think they should patch out fall damage, but it
I
should
do.
be.
It needs to be greatly reduced.
It should be greatly reduced.
The
Or at least
threshold needs to be double as high at least.
do a perk that's just like take reduced fall damage, and then like strongly
Okay,
suggest
sure.
that people
Right.
like,
Yeah.
do something. I would pay a level to not have to deal with fall damage.
Yeah.
Also, the game is fucking beautiful to look at. It's very pretty. And
Except
just,
when
like,
you have the goddamn hairworks enabled. What is up with that shit?
that is off immediately.
They're
I turned
working
it
on a
off
patch.
instantly.
They're working on it.
That was like, hair work, sweet. I'll lose half my frames just because his hair is flowing in the wind or whatever.
How in the world is that so CPU intensive? It was like
It is super bad.
I mean, obviously, if there's an entire section of the advanced graphics processing options to take that off or on, then clearly that's, a pretty big deal. But goddamn, that is like
Doesn't
such
he
a
have-
performance dragger.
Doesn't he have a dynamic beard? Doesn't it grow in
It
real time?
grows. Yeah, it grows.
How many games can you say have that?
I know. Whoa.
I've got a
NHL.
dynamic
Whoa.
beard.
Immersion.
NHL 16 has realistic beard physics.
Do you go to a barber and shave it though?
You might be able to.
You go to a barber and add hair like in Grand Theft Auto 5?
I've always
on.
been amazed by those barbers, man. Like they can do
They
they
do
can
hair
work wonders.
extensions, I guess, but like they can do them for anything.
For your face. That's amazing.
Beard extensions.
What I do like, well, I think it's just kind of funny about a few of the quests that I picked up early on in White Orchard 2 is they'll give you, well, what you can do is you can go explore around places and you can find some loot hidden in some secret cache somewhere that contains like a journal or just a little dossier of information, and that'll pop up a little quest beacon in your menu. But if you go to the menu and look at it, it just says, read the book you found.
Yeah.
It literally, and like you can even read the book and it sometimes doesn't update. It just says like, yeah, read it. Fucking figure it out based on the information we gave you there. Like go find something. That's the whole gist of this quest. There's
another thing I really like about it is that because it's a character and not like a
Party.
Well, I was thinking like a blank slate that you imprint yourself upon.
Yeah.
I find myself actually getting more into like the role playing aspect of it, where I'm
Me
like,
too.
what do I think Geralt would do here? Whereas in Inquisition or any game that allows me to just create myself, I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever I think is gonna give me the best stuff. So it's like if somebody's like, oh, sorry, sir, like I thought you were the Imperial Guard. Here's 200 gold or something like that. In The Witcher, I'm like, you keep your gold. I don't need. Like, this will help the city or
I'm
something.
the fucking Witcher.
Yeah.
Or like they pay you to kill a monster and they're like, well, I could keep it or whatever, and you're like, I'm the Witcher. I don't do this shit for free.
Oh, you do it the opposite way. 'Cause I'm playing as Geralt. I feel like bad, so I'm like, keep your measly allowance.
Okay, so we got to do another minor spoiler then, because there's a quest pretty damn early on. This is in White Orchard again. I hope we're not ruining the entire first hour of the game.
It's
for some
it's
people.
an 100-hour-long game.
Yeah,
you're in like the first 5 hours.
You got plenty of stuff to play beyond this. There's a quest where you can you go into this little hut, and it's just the saddest little just family with a dying daughter. The father's slaving over a pot of steamed water and cabbage for them to eat for dinner that night, and he says, well, my daughter's dying of this disease that only can be cured by clean water from the well, but there's a spirit that's guarding the well that we can't get rid of, and so we're basically hopeless and devastated unless you do something to help us. And then once you go and take care of it, you come back and he says, oh, thank you so much, you're such a savior. This is my daughter's wedding fund that I was saving in the hopes that one day a brave hero would come by and just exhort this stalwart behavior to make our lives better. But you can have it unless you want to let me keep it, which would be so kind-hearted of you.
He doesn't say that.
What'd you do there, though?
Oh, I had to
Witcher
let him
code,
keep it,
man.
of course.
Witcher code. You don't do
Take the
that
money.
shit for free.
You missed out, yo.
What did he give you?
He gave me. You all took the money?
I didn't take the money. I let him keep the money. He gave me an amethyst.
Yeah, same thing here, which is he gives you like 20 gold, but if you tell him to keep it, he gives you an amethyst worth like 300.
Nice.
Oh, that's poor.
There's no concept of value, apparently.
Really? That makes us the ultimate assholes because we ripped them off completely by like tenfold.
You would have looked at him and been like, all right, sounds good, thank you.
But it didn't give you the option to turn down the amethyst. You couldn't be like, well, keep your amethyst. And he's like, well, I've got you can have my house.
Would you like my wife? I have a wife.
That's funny.
Witcher 3 is really good, man.
It's real. Like we could sit here and just jerk off about it all. Fucking
Yeah,
day.
I was just gonna say that. Like, I maybe want to withhold from the circle jerk a little bit more, but Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it had a lot of hype, and it's really just doing a pretty damn good job of living up to it. So
I was nervous when they said it was going to be open world because Witcher 2 wasn't, and I'm really happy they did, and I'm really happy they delayed it too because it seems like the time spent was well worth it. And 2 expansion packs coming out that are going to add over 30 hours of content, like actual expansion packs. Bring it on. I want it.
I have like 3 problems with the game, and I don't bring it up to be nitpicky, but rather that I think games criticism is like a game is not the sum of its parts. Like, this is a game that is fantastic and an easy game to recommend to pretty much anybody. There are some problems that hamper the experience for me, but it's still a 10 for now. But movement is fucky.
Yep.
fall damage makes no sense. Text is super small if you're playing on a TV. And this is not a PC Master Race thing. I've seen PC players that are playing it on TV be like, the text is way too small. Like, I need to get right next to my monitor to read it. Which is not that bad because you're not reading that much. But when you're looting stuff, it's like, okay. Already, I don't know what the loot is. Like, so this just adds an extra element of difficulty.
That actually brings up another complaint I have about the game is it kind of carries over from Witcher 2. I don't like the inventory system. The inventory system is just kind of just like, here's everything, figure it out. It's not an easy way to sort it, and it's all icons, there's no words there, so you're just like looking at a list of shit with not knowing what it is unless you hover over each one of them and try and figure out what it is. It's just, it's functional, it's not broken, it's just clunky, and I feel like RPGs have done inventory systems in the past much, much better, and I wish they had decided to overhaul the inventory system from the last game.
It's kind of reminding me a little bit of like Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne, where you just have this pile of items that you have no idea what they are. They're just like a series of pictures, and it's up to you to figure them out. I mean, granted, they tell you, essentially, but
you gotta go
it does take a minute. It's not like you can just look at reference and go, I want to see all my alchemy items, and here's the list of what's the most important for what you're trying to do. But, you know, you can sort it by schematics, essentially, though. So
exactly, and that goes same thing with crafting. There's so much fucking shit in the world. You can pick flowers for hours in that game.
Who is campaigning for this? In every game like this,
I picked the flowers.
It's World of Warcraft.
You guys are the motherfuckers
herbalist, man.
walking through the forest, picking every single like green icon that shows up on your mini map.
Every one of them.
I just wish my complaint was going to be. I wish the alchemy, when you go open the alchemy thing, all the things that you have the ingredients to make were right at the top. Like all the things you can make were green at the top. Instead of having to scroll through the whole fucking list and be like, what can I make right now?
Present an alternative to gathering resources from the field.
Instead of there being 100 plants that give you one or two instances of the herb, have like a tree in the town or something. Because it's not difficult to get the herbs, it's just time consuming. Just have a tree in the town, and when you loot the tree, you get like a stack.
Have a tree that grows every herb that's ever been known?
No, there's a tree in the village over there that has red whatever, and a tree in the village over here.
It's not for everybody.
Yes.
Where's the people that want to meander? And I like to meander. I like to go through the forest and discover crap in the forest.
It doesn't reward the people that want to meander, in my opinion. It penalizes the people who are like, I don't want to sit here on my couch and literally collectively spend like 22 hours pressing A on every plant. And with the movement controls especially, it's not like, or just give me, how about this? I hold left trigger, all of the plants within like an area instantly
you just
harvest
suck them into you? Geralt Vacuum Edition.
Did you end up buying
anything to make it more convenient.
The peppermint vodka at the bar in White Orchard?
I don't think so, no.
Mm-mm.
If you have the opportunity to, there's only one, buy it.
What does it do?
It every 24 hours, it will replenish some of your alchemy supplies.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Which I had no idea it did. And then every time a day went by, it's like the peppermint vodka replenish some of your alchemy supplies. It's like, ooh, that's really random. Never drink it. I'm just going to keep it in my inventory.
I do want to piggyback one thing on what Ryan said about the movement being so awkward, and then as that pertains to alchemy, the prompts don't always seem to work. I've had a lot of instances where like I wanted to light a sconce on the wall or something, and there was no prompt. It just didn't exist. And I walked around it for a minute just trying to get the freaking A button to appear.
Yeah.
I hate that you have to look at the examine button to loot. Because what I want to do is like I have to loot this stuff. I just want to walk in a circle and press A. But you have to like look at the button that says examine, or the game is like maybe he doesn't want to examine it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when you've got your Witcher powers, it puts the camera in like this weird kind of over your shoulder perspective, which changes where your focus was. And if you're trying to loot a bunch of stuff, which happens constantly, when you've got like a field of bodies and you don't know which ones you've already looted, now it's going to keep moving your camera up and down, and then you can't focus on where you need to click.
That was going to be my final complaint, is a little bit me specific in that gives me like incredible motion sickness. The way it makes everything all hazy and wavy, and when you like turn, everything blurs as it goes. It wouldn't be that bad, except I think I'm doing like, I'll stack up like 2 story quests and do those for like 2 hours and then do a bunch of side quests. So for 2 hours, like every story quest that I've done so far is like use your Witcher sense to blah, blah, blah. Witcher sense. So I'll spend like 30% of my time in the Witcher sense, and I actually feel sick to my stomach after a while. But it's still an amazing game. There's some unevenness to
We
it, but it's
should-
still super rich.
We should also mention, going kind of back to the PC Master Race thing, there are some crashing issues with,
Yeah, I've
I
had
think-
it crash every time I played it.
yeah.
I've
so-
been lucky. I have not had a crash.
That's
yet.
actually been when I tell myself it's time to stop playing is when the game crashes. So it's
Like,
it might just be a built-in feature of trying not to allow people to play the game too much, but
Nintendo.
And quick save. Quick
Yeah.
save often. Quick save often.
Oh,
if you're
God,
playing on
yeah.
hard difficulty.
Yeah.
F5 to win.
just
Yep.
don't play on hard, because why would you?
Why
Because
punish
you feel
yourself?
even more like a Witcher, man. You're like about to fight this big monster, and you know you can't win unless you have the right potions and the right spells at the ready.
That's
Do you guys feel like the sword play is really stiff?
No, I think it's all right.
I think it's fine, but I'm also coming from a place where Witcher 2 combat was awful.
The combat looks fluid-ish, but compared to something like Shadow of Mordor,
Oh, it's not.
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
actiony. It's kind of in that like in between like math and
Right.
Well, he almost looks like a ninja sometimes too, which is kind of by design, I would imagine. Is
It feels- It's like dial-a-combo in Mortal Kombat a little bit, like just XXX, and then he goes
Yeah.
cut.
yeah.
I think on PC you might be able to do this, but I also wish you could just map signs to the keyboard.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
going into the menu, which slows down time all the time,
Right.
it's annoying unless you just want to spam probably like Quen over and over for high defense. Like I resent a little bit every 10 seconds having to switch signs, but I know that's a me thing because Mathis was talking about Pillars of Eternity like a month and a half ago, and he's like he likes
that didn't
pausing
bother
the
me
game
at
every
all.
5 seconds and then being like, okay, I'm going to switch this and yet. At least here it's only one person, so
You're not
I
dealing with
can
a party
handle
of
it.
6.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I feel like in the harder difficulties, they shouldn't slow time when you're trying to change your signs. It should add to the difficulty of it.
I really just wish I could map two signs. If I could map like Quen to one button and then like my mind, whatever sign is next leveled. Like
Yeah.
so the defensive on one and then have like mind control on the other one for me would be perfect.
I find myself very rarely using anything but Gwen, which is the shield for your
Yeah,
body.
Oh, really?
Like it's just
You gotta
You use the
upgrade
pyro
the.
one?
yeah, not really. No.
You gotta upgrade the mind control one because the upgrade not only does it make it better in combat, but it makes the dialogue
The
version
interactions,
of it stronger.
yeah.
I've
That's what
done
it's
that,
meant
but I haven't had an issue where I think it helped me yet. If it did, it didn't tell me. But I use it because I've upgraded it. Anytime it gives me the option of mind control, he's like, "Oh, there's no witch in this town." You're just like, "Oh, oh actually, there. She lives right over there."
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
Witcher
a great
3.
game. I think we all fucking love it. so.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
I'm excited to play more. Yeah.
$60, classic price, classic game, classic life.
Yo, Gwent is really good. I'm not
Gwent
gonna harp
is
on
good.
it. Gwent is really fun.
I haven't
I
played
like
it.
that card
I'd
game.
rather look in the forest for flowers.
It's a game that appeals.
I'd rather look in the forest for Gwent cards, man. That's what
I'm
gonna
spending
find.
like literally every
Might be
time
out
I go
there.
to a merchant, I'm like, I don't care about your bread or your chicken legs. Just give me the Gwent cards.
I don't care about the things that subsist
Yeah.
my life.
I can just meditate.
Yeah.
I love that shit that you
keep
like
that shit.
beat a boss and then you just meditate for 12 hours in place. I'm always
Certainly
like,
there's nothing else dangerous around here.
what is like my companion is standing next to me for like 12 hours where Geralt's just like sitting there. It's so good.
Kind of spaced out, looking into the sky.
Or like doing it in the center of like a hostile town. Like you go into like a castle you're not supposed to be in and just meditate on the staircase. It's so
Oh, that
good.
actually
People
that's
walking
actually a
by
little
you.
bit of inconsistency. I went and got somebody pissed at me in a castle town, and then I went and triggered a cutscene, and when I came out of it, everybody was cool again. So I don't know what's up with that, but
Oh,
maybe I
you're
used my
gonna be a
mind
witcher?
powers on them.
It's not
Witcher.
like it doesn't seem quite as open-ended as like a Fallout or a Skyrim where you can actually just like murder murder an NPC and be like, oh well, that's
No.
how I'm role playing.
I angered the Nilfgaards once, and they one-shot me.
Oh yeah,
They
Jesus.
were like dead. I was looting the crates in the Nilfgaard fortress. I was like,
they
oh,
literally
fuck.
have a pop-up that is like the
I-
guards
do
are
that.
watching you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
I was
you're
like,
trying to loot flowers, though. Sometimes you accidentally grab a barrel by accident.
And then it's like-
It happened to me.
I don't think everyone has that problem, actually.
Just me. I was an obsessed herbalist in WoW, I'm telling you.
No, I share it with you, man. I want to go back to that because I want to make a sort of pseudo-realism argument with you. There's not going to
Doesn't
be
matter.
all
It's
the
a video game.
No, come on, all the resources you need. If you want to craft a potion, you got to go through the effort. You got to get out there and you got to find what you need.
You got to
need
learn
that-
about the flora
Geralt-
and the fauna.
You
Okay,
need to
yourself.
scale a
If we're talking about
shoreline for
realism,
drowner brains.
If we're talking about realism, why doesn't Geralt just take the seeds from all the plants, go back to his fortress, make a farm, and then he could teleport back because he can fast travel, because this is not a realistic argument, I guess. He can fast travel back and pick up a stack every time he goes back.
Why doesn't
And
he
his
just buy
horse will
potions
teleport
from
too,
everywhere?
actually.
I would buy property in that game and start growing things.
I think this is, as of right now, I loved Inquisition. I think this is better than Inquisition. One thing I would like to see integrated, and maybe they have it later on, because this didn't show up until like a third of the way through Inquisition anyway, is that kind of like there's almost like a politics system, but you have a war council, and you could send people in your war council out to do shit that you didn't want to do, and then in real time, it would take time for that to go by. So you would be like, I hate looting plants in that game. So I would do like these, I don't know what they were called, but like herbalist missions basically, where it would be like, hey, you go like harvest as many plants as you can and then return to me in 8 hours. And then they'd come back and be like, I finished, my lord. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you want the Witcher Brotherhood where you add to your ranks and build up a
Pretty
guild.
much.
I'm okay with just being a character. I like that.
I'm not trying to say I prefer that system, but it's if I can offload gameplay that I don't enjoy on, but I still need the benefits from it, then I would like to do that. But
you should just not play the game. You should just hire someone to play the game for you. Really.
I really like the game, but I don't like picking the plants.
Fair
it's
enough.
The fall damage though. That's huge for me. I really.
I also feel like the crafting is very complicated, but I have that complaint about every RPG that I play.
That's true.
So
it comes in a little fast and furious, doesn't it? The crafting comes in a little fast and furious when you start. It's like, oh, it's just started the game. Oh, here's 100 crafting.
Yeah, there's, there's a lot of things.
I'm like 6 hours in and I haven't crafted anything, because whenever I go, I look at it, I'm like, okay, to craft this, I need like these secondary ingredients, but I don't have 2 of them to craft the secondary ingredients. And like you said, they're all pictures, so I gotta be like, okay, red spool of thread, and then go through the inventory and then, okay, red spool of thread. Here we go. Like, I don't get it, but
it's a good game though.
It is good.
Good game.
Yeah, we're nitpicking. We all like it.
We are. It's great.
We're finding very trivial things to.
The most important thing about the game is spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, the combat mechanics are good. The story is fantastic. Dialogue's amazing. Looks great.
The quests are fucking phenomenal.
Yes. The quests are all meaningful so
probably
far.
Some of the best questing I've ever done in an RPG. It's extraordinary.
Because you like the character in part. I think that's really the platform that makes this exciting.
I'm easily invested in the story of Geralt. Like, that may be enough to make
Fantasy Batman.
Yeah.
He is. Fantasy Batman bounty hunter who kills people.
Yep.
And
Fantasy
like,
Batman. Available for $60.
By talking about it is illustrating that you don't really need to have a foundation in The Witcher. Like, I played like 80% of The Witcher 2 and had to read a recap, and I was like, I don't remember any of this shit at all. And I was still, as soon as I got into The Witcher 3, I was like, all right, I'm still into this.
Is there a part? Okay, this is actually maybe a spoiler warning, so tune out for a second. There's a part when you get to the town where your lady is, and they are interviewing you.
Yeah,
I feel like that's like a recap, right?
That's exactly what that is. What it's doing is asking you what decisions did you make in the second game. That's their way of importing their save.
Rather than having a true save importer.
I see.
So if you said simulate Witcher 2 save, what does that change? Do you skip that interview?
I simulated the save, and it still gave me the interview.
Did you play on the same console as The Witcher 2?
Can't.
Oh, so simulate save, it's probably giving you the opportunity to have that interview. That would be my guess.
Oh, you know what? That might be what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Do you want to simulate the save of The Witcher 2? You get the interview. You get to make decisions on how The Witcher 2 came and ended.
I thought that was a really clever game design thing when it happened to me. Like, once I figured out what was going on, I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah. I like that. All right, well, there we go. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, available right now. It's
already own it.
Yeah, so. You do. you are one of the literally 60,000 people playing it right now on Steam. So
I will be 60,001 in a minute.
Oh man, and that is going to bring us into kind of a revamped version of Nick's Weird Games. And while Nick goes, I don't even need to go.
Left. You don't need to go anywhere. Are we going to do Mathis's Weird Games today?
Yeah,
Mathis's Weird Cat.
Not weird cat.
Do you feel up to a Nick's Weird Games theme song today?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? You're the guy.
Oh, you did it last week. It was pretty good.
Can I get an Enya version?
Okay.
Regrettably so.
I don't have to leave, so you can just sing.
Oh, this is weird now, though. It's the whole point is that there's a false false time limit on it so that it couldn't go on forever.
I'll just walk away if you'd prefer.
That's probably better, honestly. He might get more into the mood of it.
Pretend. Just pretend. Pretend you're getting the game.
Enya Nick's weird games, it would be like, who can bring us a weird game that is not lame? Only Nick. And who can bring us an oddity for the PS3? Only Nick. Then there's this part nobody knows. You can come back now if you like.
That's good, Nick.
Well done.
That was
Well
fantastic. That was maybe my
I thought
favorite
maybe you were
so
going to
far.
go the route of, what is it, Dead Sister?
Who?
Ooh, Nick's Weird Games, something like that. But I like the way he did it.
There's only 2 Enya songs.
I know,
Or
yeah. There's the only
slash
ones people
cringe
know.
for today's
There's
episode.
only time, and then there's the one that's like, sail away, sail away.
Nick's Weird Games, Nick's Weird... Oh, it works so well.
Nick's Weird Games. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
All right, so we're doing a new format for Nick's Weird Games today. Honestly, this is kind of how we started out trying to do it, but no, Intervision in the Roundtable Podcast subreddit, which is roundtablepodcast.reddit.com, gave us a really great idea here. He says, instead of Nick showing off the title of the game to the rest of the members of the podcast, we can just read the description, or he'll just read the description on the back of the box, and it's going to be kind of a little contest for every episode to see if any of us can guess what game he is describing based on those clues.
Right.
So we even could take it further than that. We could say, if we can't guess it from the description on the back of the box, we can do something like who developed it, who published it, the year it came out, the console it was on, and then we'll just see how far we can go from there. So here we go.
I like it a lot. Let's do it.
All right, so I've got 5 bullet points that are going to serve as nice little breakups here, and this is a PS2 game, so that's what you've got to work on.
Okay, so we're starting with the console already.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the most useless bullet point. Unlock special bonus features. Great, that's really helpful.
Was this a DVD?
Was this a DVD? Yes. Does that matter?
Are we playing 20 questions with it now?
All right, no. Go continue, Nick. Continue. I'm ready.
All right. Lure your enemies to their deadly fate with the unique trap weapon system. Any guesses?
Ooh. Cabela's Big Hunter.
Nope.
Oh.
It was like a Mark of Cree or something.
That's a decent guess, but no, it's not that.
Oh, shit.
That's good enough.
All right, this one might augment your Mark of Cree idea. Gameplay so gruesome, you won't believe your eyes.
Oh
Ooh,
shit!
wow.
Is it Manhunt?
No,
Like God Hand?
although Manhunt also makes sense, not God Hand. Shall I keep going?
Keep going.
Please.
Play as Princess Allura and unleash the devil in the name of vengeance.
Oh, shit. I knew this. Princess
got this,
Allura
Bear.
sounds familiar. Oh, no.
There's no way.
Keep going. Princess Allura.
All right, this might be the most useful tip. Kill with your huge arsenal of sophisticated traps.
It's not X-Blade, is it?
No.
Okay.
Velvet Assassin?
No, PS2 game.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was on. I just knew the name.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's PS2.
Princess Allura sounds like she could be a Velvet Assassin.
Yeah, let's go with
All right,
bullet
now
point
I've
5.
got a little chunk of text that I can read. With the devil by your side, play as Princess Allura, as you lure your enemies into your intricate web of traps and dark illusions, all in name of protecting justice and saving your kingdom. You will plant a series of deadly traps that will maim, burn, behead, and consume your enemies' lives, leaving their souls for the devil.
This isn't tower defense, is it?
No.
Okay.
I got nothing.
All right.
Let's go with developer.
This is a Tecmo joint.
Of course it is. Tecmo and Atlas are fucking weird sometimes.
Is it published by Tecmo or developed by Tecmo?
I don't know.
Is it Tecmo Bowl?
It's not Tecmo.
Because it should be.
I'm looking it up because you can just tell me. I don't think I know this game.
You're out of the running,
I have
man.
no idea.
If I say the word deception, does this give you anything?
No.
Nope.
I think we've crossed all.
Princess
possible
fucking
paths.
Allura. I feel
Princess
like I know
Allura's
this.
from Voltron, apparently.
Is it Voltron?
I don't think you're gonna crack this code. This game is called Trapped.
Oh, with
This
a
is
T.
the sequel to Tecmo's Deception.
I gotta see this
kind of
box art, man.
I kind of was hoping it was going to be the sequel to Night Trap.
Dude, is that based on the band?
That
Yeah,
looks like
it is.
Same spelling and
actually.
everything.
No, I think this may have come out slightly after the band, but I don't know. So the premise is you're in a castle or a mansion of some kind, and you basically do this sort of strategy moment where you place a bunch of traps around, and then people break into the mansion and try and get you, and the traps are just basically automated, and you have to run around and try and kill them.
Sounds like Orcs Must Die.
A little bit.
Yeah, it is actually a kind of similar premise. It's got a very Dark Souls aesthetic to it, though, which I think is kind of cool. And in general, I really did enjoy the first one, although I haven't spent much time with this one in particular. So.
I like this new format. This is more fun.
Yeah, it is.
That was.
Why does Princess Allura sound so familiar?
You watch a lot of Voltron?
Apparently.
Must have.
All right. Now, this will be fun, though. So far, we're all at 0. So that's going to be good. We'll have to make a determination of how weird they're going to have to be before we can actually start getting points at the board. But,
like, I would put this at like a 6.5 out of 10 as far as weirdness.
I've never seen that game before, so that's definitely
a niche PS2 game.
Don't you sneak a rat bite in there?
That's how you know we got to get to the end of this. He's already eaten his dinner.
Who's sneaking?
Yeah, you're being pretty blunt about it. Oh, man. I like that, though. That's going to be fun for Nick's Word Games for the future. But that is going to bring us to the conclusion of the podcast. We want to thank our patrons for this episode. You can go to patreon.com/roundtable. We are currently sitting at, I think it's just over $600 away, 660-ish from the 2,500 goal, which would bring us to a weekly schedule. So if you're interested in making the Roundtable podcast a weekly affair, you can head over to patreon.com/roundtable and contribute there. Thank you very much for the patrons for this episode. Max Pillin, Garrett Stewart at Grizzlies Review, Christopher Flagg, Casey, EP Diablo, General Crunk. I like that. Crunk. Sweetheart Kevin Walker, Alexander Spillman, Jonathan Graham, Jeff Rush, Robert, David Bradley, Matt, Julian Avelsgaard, Hired Help, Caspian Crawdad, Kevin Birkland, Connor Littlewood, Rumble Muffin, Maximilian Messerschmidt, Shimmerfett, Logan Ray, Ignacio0891, A1 Base, HD, how do you say W-E-I-S-S? Weiss, HD Weiss. Yep. David Teraoka, The Deacon, Mr. Scribe Monkey, Christopher Kuo, Will Vanderkooy, Modest Ponin, Hunter DeLacy, Brandon Bennett, Rhiannon, OIC Mudkips, Simon Iriata, Demius, Gibonis, Christopher Farmer, Garju, Batman9502, Kaj, Starcopper, Eroticals, Vandervet, Grace Card, Peter R., Michael Gilbert, Unix388, Sebastian Iorga, John Morrison, Michael Gray, Justin Positron, Brizzlebrib, Saint City Riot, Scott Cullen, Muskiff DP, Jesse Warburton, Chris Har, Jonathan Bloodworth, Deadly Place, Hiro Alato, ZHXB. How would you say that phonetically? You go
ZHXB? I think we did that last week. Last time.
Yeah.
Zixba.
That's fun. Yackers, Jonathan Collins, Levi Robertson, Pile of Bunnies, Solon Carter, Dragonslayer Doppelganger, J. Kyle Pittman, Fred Durst, Michael Schwader, Andreas Dimebacher, Doylem, Suicide Prinny, Z-Mod, Wolves at My Door, Tobias Dushpol, Eric Heinrichs, Dylan Kaj, Tobias Klaus, D's Nuts, with a little weird face. What is even that face? It's a creepy face. Chris Remical, Crimbo, Andrew James Smith, Chris Bunch, Graham Allerton, Will Bailey, Duck Souls, a woohoo, Kel Perter, Sam B, Christmas 95, Titan, Luke Chen, JH, Paul, Nathan Wood, Rusty Hole, Chris Davies, Konstantinos Chelidonis, Jose Estrada, Benjamin Mickelson, Jordan Yarandipour, Sebastian Morin Barsalu, Cooper Winons, Marvin Pitch, The Awakak, Julian W., Lucas Seidling, Dudok22, Jack McAteer, Jack Akar, excuse me, I'm trying to read these, Doug Rivette, Hammerstitz, Tom Reese, and Big D Dockin' Dude. You know when I have to swallow in the middle of it that this list is getting ridiculous? Thank you guys so much for your support on patreon.com/roundtable. Subscribe to us on iTunes, rate the show 5 stars, review it if you want to, but it doesn't really make a huge difference. Roundtable subreddit, you can also go to Twitter, follow us at RoundtablePC, and that, I think, twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast. We'll be live on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast. We don't know, actually. It's going to be an interesting one. Normally it would have been June 2nd, but I think we're going to have to figure something out.
A lot of us are traveling.
Yeah.
That's a cool. I like it.
That's where you open the,
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll notify you when the next stream is going to be on Twitch. over on twitter.com/roundtablepc, so you can get updates from there if you're interested. Or you can just follow the Twitch channel and be notified when it goes live that way. But thank you very much for listening and or watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Later.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Bye.
Hey, Grandpa Baer here. I'm contractually obliged to say this. You can support this podcast on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/roundtable and give us $1. And remember, luck is a skill you have to learn.